Hi, I'm Claire Ridgway, and this is my masterclass on who killed Anne Boleyn. I'm going to introduce you to the different suspects and the factors of 1536, and then I'm going to open up for questions at the end. On the 19th of May, on a scaffold in that sort of parade ground there between those two big buildings, Anne Boleyn was beheaded by an expert swordsman, ordered especially. He did the deed. So who killed Anne Boleyn? The executioner, the swordsman, or the hangman of Calais, but he wasn't responsible for Anne's death. Anne Boleyn had been found guilty of high treason. She had used kisses, touches, and otherwise to seduce Sir Henry Norris, Sir Francis Weston, William Brereton, and Mark Smeaton to have illicit intercourse with her. She'd also incited her own natural brother, George Boleyn, Knight, Lord Rochford, to violate her. Now, Anne and the 5 men had also, according to the indictments, plotted and imagined the king's death. That was the reason given for her plotting to get the king out of the way and thereby committing high treason. 3/4 of the alleged offences can be disproved because either the queen or the man that she was supposed to be with on that date weren't actually there at the place cited. But this doesn't matter. The defendant, the person that was being tried for high treason, was presumed to be guilty. Unsurprisingly, Anne and all 5 men were found guilty and sentenced to death. But who framed them? So here we have suspect number 1, Jane Seymour, that beautiful Holbein portrait of her. The Catholic faction. Eric Ives really does see factions coming into play in 1536 in the fall of Anne Boleyn. Suspect 3, Thomas Cromwell, who was definitely behind the legal machinery of Anne Boleyn's fall. Now the next suspect is Anne Boleyn herself. Number 5, Henry VIII. He's our final suspect. Do you think Mary and Anne Boleyn were really whores in the French court as alleged by the French king? No, I don't think they were. There's no evidence that Mary Boleyn was a mistress to Francis I, or that she had a bad reputation in France. It surely would have followed her back to England, and I don't think she would have been welcome really at the English court if she had. She was known for her virtue and piety. There's no way that she would have had a maid of honour who had sort of any blackened reputation. What made Henry go from obsession to hatred in such a short time? The king is forced to do such awful things because of his need to make Anne his wife. He then just felt completely let down and betrayed by Anne. I mean, his relationship with Anne led to such awful things. Thomas More, who'd really been a father figure to him, a man that Henry VIII had loved, he ends up being executed. Wolsey ends up falling, and I think just all of that makes resentment build. Did he have brain injury from his jousting accident, which sort of led to him having some kind of mental illness? I don't know whether he has some kind of mental illness or whether he was a sociopath or anything. I just don't know. I think he was just a kind of product of his time, a product of being sort of spoilt and flattered the whole of his life, for thinking that he was, second to God. So I think more probably a product of his upbringing and his time.